It's all right. We'll
So
address it. We'll struggle it together.
What I'm trying to understand in my mind is we start, the call type is actually a stem. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then under that you have katal, vekatal, baital, and so forth. Okay.
Just a second. I don't want to say under that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Every verb in Hebrew, you see. Let me put it on screen. Like with my car. Remember the slide with my car? I'll put it on screen for everybody to know what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay. Bear with me for a second. Okay. Okay. And this is from the grammar. Okay. This is my car. Okay. And this is the point that I want to make. You've talked about a stem or a binyan. Sometimes a stem refers to a collection, to a group of binyanim, but specifically what the point that I wanted to make is that a combination of these elements is giving you the specifics of a word, exactly like a car. Okay, these are not mutually exclusive. Okay, so when you say under, you can look at this under this or this under that. You know, the make is not under color. Okay, or vice versa. Okay, you can collect together all the red cars. You would have a Mercedes, you would have a Chevrolet, you would have a Ford. Okay, you can collect together all the cars from 2011. Okay, you see my point. It's not yes. Okay. So when you say under, it's not necessarily under. Okay, but the combination of these elements is what gives you the verb, or rather, when you have a verb, you have to know it incorporates into it these elements. Okay.
So can I ask further then?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I guess what I'm really asking then is very specifically is with respect to the terms call, katal, bekatal, and so forth, the actual meaning. What do they actually mean?
Okay. So kal is the word kal. You might have heard other teachers that say kal means easy or simple. Right, guys? Have you ever heard that kal means simple or easy?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So while it is correct nominally, it is incorrect for this purpose, because here it really means light. Light as opposed to heavy.
Okay.
Note how the other binyanim, they all have something added to them, either the dagesh of the doubled stem, okay, the doubling. Okay, I use this sign instead of a dagesh. This is an Arabic sign that is sometimes used. Okay, so the doubling, the hey, the noon, they all take something that makes them heavier or makes them add something. The kal is devoid of any elements that would otherwise make it heavy. Okay, so it is light. It is also the basic, most like default verb and the most common verb indeed. In no way, shape, or form the kal is easier than others. It's really the other way around. Really, it is not easier because it is it is really complicated because it doesn't have these identifiers. Whom would you have easier time picking out of a crowd? Someone who is like regularly dressed, or someone who is dressed like a peacock? Okay. So if you have many things that identify you, like a dagesh or a tav or whatever, that makes it easier to identify. Really, the easiest binyan to identify is the hitpa'el, because it really has a lot of things that make it unique. The least things that make you unique make it harder for you to identify. Okay? So while the name Kal, the word Kal means all kinds of things: light, swift, easy, simple. Okay? Here
Yeah.
it really means light. Okay? And it's by far the most common form. So in that sense, it is basic. It is, if you take all of the other forms together, you won't even get halfway to the Kal.
Right.
Okay, so that's as far as the meaning of the word Kal. Okay.
Okay. Now, if something is in one of these boxes here, it can't be in any other box, correct? For example,
Right. So
it could
so
never be
every
a
within,
towel.
yeah, that's good. That's good. Within every category, these are mutually exclusive.
Okay.
Okay. Within every category, it's exactly like your car, right? What car do you drive, Frank?
Little Honda.
Little Honda. So your Honda, unless it's the Honda of Schrödinger, is either of one color or another color,
Gotcha.
right?
Yep.
And it cannot be Honda and a Hyundai. Sounds similar, but it cannot be both.
Correct.
Unless they did something special for you. I don't know. You're an important person. So maybe they got Honda and BMW together to do something just for you. But you get the point. Within the category, so if we're talking about the binyan, it's either that or that, not, but within the different categories, they're not mutually exclusive. So you can have kal, katal, yiktol, okay? Okay, and again, let's go back to that other category, which is the tense or the conjugation. Here, okay, when we talk about conjugation, we have generally a division into indicative and volitional, or horative or horatory. Okay, these are different definitions, but generally you've got the definitions that are showing an action that happens or will happen. The katal, the yiktol, the vekatal, the vayiktol, and you have forms that express, which we have here. Okay. And you have form that express the will of the speaker towards an action. That is the volitional forms. Okay, like volition, will. Okay.
Yep.
So you've got cohortative in the first person, imperative in the second person, jussive in the third person. You've got infinitive, two types of infinitive in Hebrew: infinitive construct, infinitive absolute. You've got the participle, which is used, just a second, either as a verb, as a noun, or an adjective. Best understood possibly as an adjective, kind of, but being used also as a noun or as a verb. And again, within the category of conjugation or tense, call it however, these are mutually exclusive. So if a verb is a katal, it cannot be a vayiktol. If a verb is participle, it cannot be a cohortative. Okay? But it can be a katal and kal. Vital and kal, cohortative and kal, okay, participle and kal.
Okay, I understand. Yeah, I got it. So that's because of the conjugation, not the stem, if you will, or the
Right, not the binyan. So we've got the binyan. Let's go over the categories again. You've got the root, which again is mutually exclusive. If a word is of the root mem lamed and chaf, it is not of the root dalet bet and resh.
Right.
If a word is of the pual binyan, it is not of the hifil binyan. Within the category, it is mutually exclusive. I should add a caveat that what I'm saying is 99% accurate, okay? Because there are cases where you can analyze a given word as this or that. I'll give you an example from English. Maybe it's not a very good example, but I'll do it anyway. So I'm writing an English word. Generally speaking, you can distinguish the tense in English words. But in this word, you cannot. Okay, it is either read or read. Okay, but if someone were to ask you, can you distinguish is the present tense and the past tense in English are mutually exclusive? Yes, they are, but they're not always, you can't always tell the difference just by looking at the word. So that is a caveat, a very small caveat that I'm adding to that. But within the category here, the category of the binyanim, okay, it's mutually exclusive. Within the category of the conjugation, again, mutually exclusive. Within the category of subject, which is what is the person, the gender, and the number, essentially mutually exclusive. So if a verb is first person common plural, we did something, it is not the same as you did something. Okay? Again, with tiny caveats around, you sometimes have a common form, same form for masculine or feminine, like the third person common plural of the katal. The way to say they ladies did and they gentlemen did is the same. Okay, but generally within the category, it is always mutually exclusive. Between the categories, you can mix and match. That creates a great complexity. Really, you just
that's what I was remembering. You said you can get over 500.
Right, you can get about
combinations.
Right. It's kind of a butcher's math. It's not an exact, because not every root.
But that's the richness, though.
Interacts with all the binyanim.
Yeah.
Okay, but some do. Okay. So that is the great complexity. But this is also the great benefit.
Yes.
Of verbs. The advantages and disadvantages stem from the same phenomenon, and that is what we call synthetic morphology, as opposed to English that puts words one next to each other. In the Semitic languages, they are synthesized together. They are like weaved together, okay, to create a word where the elements are inseparable from one another. Okay, so if a verb in English, if I would say, he caused someone to, or he caused to stick, or he will cause to stick, or may he will, I wish he would cause to stick. In Hebrew, I can do all of that by using one word, yadbek. Yadbek. Okay, I express here the volitional aspect by using the jussive form. Okay, I express the causative by using the he feel. Okay, I express the third person masculine singular by using the yod at the beginning and nothing at the end. And I express the notion of sticking or gluing by using the root daled bet and kof. So you understand how all of these different elements, instead of being, words that are put one beside the other, as in English, I wish he will cause to stick, are weaved together in Hebrew into one word. That makes it difficult because the morphology of the word is much richer. It's much more richer. And it makes it more beneficial for us because once we know how to decipher the verb, we know what to expect around it. We know what to expect as far as the doer of the action, oftentimes as part of what complement we would need for that verb. Okay, direct object, indirect object. Okay, all of these, once we decipher the verb, we are well into understanding the sentence, the clause in the sentence. Okay, Frank?